tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, this is not AfterBuzz TV's Arrow After Show. This is now the karaoke show, and you get to listen to us sing for an entire hour. Yeah!
Man, I was having a real good night.
JK, okay, fine. We'll talk about the show. Hey guys, thank you for joining us here. We're here to talk all about Arrow and all the drama and suspense that happened this evening. Make sure you join in and you co-host with us as usual. All you have to do is hop in the hashtag ABTV Arrow, and make sure you're tweeting at us. I'm Ali Kona Bradford. You can find me at Boys and Beauty 01, and don't forget to find me on YouTube sitting in the tub. Oh, amen.
Yeah, oh, my turn.
Yeah.
Hi, Lex Michael, all of our social media at the Lex Michael, and I was a little bit surprised not to see any of us on tonight's episode of Arrow because it seemed like everyone else was.
And I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me at Tauri J. T-U-R-I-J-Y.
I feel like I should lead with an evil laugh or something because, dang.
Way too good at that.
And I'm
Yikes.
Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's K-I-A-X-E-T. I am checking the hashtag. I am also checking the live chat. Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube. And, you know, read, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
The things.
iTunes reviews.
So the first thing we're doing tonight is some news and gossip. JK. That's just
We did that solely to mess with our engineer who specifically asked us not to do that first tonight.
Yes.
Poor Stephen.
Anyway.
Joke's on you, I'm actually ready.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Anyway.
Well, let's
He grimaced through tears.
Oh, all right, buzzers. So first thing I want to talk about tonight is the stuffed knife pepper, because I thought that was such a creative and random way to
I
get
brought
this
you
up.
a stuffed pepper for dinner!
She's like, take it away. It creates bugs and stuff.
Well,
No.
it's
Like
better
she's
that...
been eating.
It's from the special garden.
Well, she's so like, why don't you have a bite and see how good it is? And it's great that Nissa didn't take that at face value and bite into the knife pepper.
Well, no, from the whole, it's from the garden which still grows in your absence. And I'm like, oh, we're speaking in code.
And
like,
this is like
fairly
I
obvious.
don't know this code, but this sounds like code.
So I'm just gonna open the pepper.
Or this is a strange person. Yeah.
Who is this person? That's what I want to know. Who
She
is
doesn't
this?
seem to have a name, but I already love her. So I'm good with it.
Well,
I'm good with it.
I thought, okay, so here you have Nissa in this little cage, and she's been in there for Lord knows how long, and as soon
few months.
Yeah. And apparently she looks the same even though she hasn't eaten in a few months because she just doesn't eat these days. But
Meditation.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It calms the
Calms you.
hunger.
It cleans your clothes. It does your hair and makeup.
Yeah.
I need to get into this meditation thing.
Sorry, I meant metachlorians.
Excuse
That
me.
is the wrong franchise owned by the wrong company, but I will take it.
Yeah. So anyways, all I know is as soon as she's out of the cage, the beast was unleashed tonight. It never ever gets tiring watching her fight. And then to have her sidekick, whomever, be in there, I'm like, yeah, go girls.
Yeah.
And then Katana.
Yes, it was so cool to
Dang.
see her. And you know, here's the thing, because she was always a great fighter before. It was nice to see her and Nissa try to fight. But I love that Nissa right off the bat was like, hold please. You know, I'm just going to put it out there. We're about the same level of goodness. Do you really want to do this? Because this is going to go on for a long time. We're just going to get tired. Can we just talk? Let's just talk.
They mentioned that Katana had become part of the Crescent Order. Was it?
She found purpose.
Something like that.
She found purpose, or rather, they found a way to write her off of the show for Suicide Squad without killing her.
Right.
But they name dropped something that she'd become a part of.
Right.
And I didn't write it down, so I don't remember what it was.
Google. Somebody Google it and then hashtag it and tell us what it means.
But I
Yes.
really was expecting her to show up in this episode just to be killed. because that is what we've.
No, but that
I
would
am
get so
super
tiring.
glad that
That's
that
so
is not the
tiring.
case.
I agree with you, especially because I want as much Katana all over television and film as they can and are willing to give us. But after they killed Floyd Lawton it was a season ago, they killed Amanda Waller very unceremoniously. Now I feel like anytime we see someone from Suicide Squad show up,
They're just gonna die.
They're gonna see him get popped pretty quickly. So
I love that it's like, you're gone. You have continuing adventures off stage.
Yeah,
Like,
you
yes.
get to live. Just do it over there.
Right.
Well, I thought it was very interesting that she was willing. Obviously, we find out at the end of the episode that the deal gets struck and that Nis ends up with her Lotus. So I'm wondering what the conversation was and what the motivation was for Katana to give up what she was so importantly there to watch over, unless she just hates Malcolm Merlin that much. So she said, meh.
Well, name
okay.
dropping Oliver Queen helps.
Yeah. I think she cares more about Oliver than she hates Merlin.
Okay. Does she secretly love him, though?
No.
Nah.
I am
how could
so
you not?
done with the Oliver harem on this show. Oh my god.
Oliver Harem.
We've got a ship.
the,
Let's keep it.
I feel like the conversation really would have gone as simply as Nissa saying, DC Entertainment really wants me to kill you. I won't kill you if you give up the Lotus. And Katana thinks about it for a second and goes, well, I really want to live to see Suicide Squad. That was a sweet trailer. Here's your Lotus. I'll be over there.
I mean, that could have happened too. I thought it was interesting, though, that we now found out that there's a cure. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with
It's
Thea.
not even a cure. It negates the effects of the Lazarus Pit and was created by enemies of the League, which makes me wonder if it's not it cures your bloodlust, and it's more of a, were you in the pit? Now you're dead.
Because that's the thing. The biggest effect of the Lazarus Pit is not being dead anymore.
And functional immortality.
But it's now killing her. But do you think that that has to do with the fact that she had that interaction with Damien Darhk, and whatever his juju is, it interrupted the flow, and now that's why everything is going haywire in her body?
No, they made it pretty clear that that's not the case. That it's been her abstinence that is...
But why her? Like, why is it affecting her this way? Do you know what I mean?
Because I guess that's what it does.
Because she's
we
not.
had to write some soap opera conflict into the show, and instead of, mysterious soap opera wasting disease, we have this.
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong. That happens all the time.
Absolutely right.
Tauri.
It seems to be like a mystic blood for blood kind of thing. So, essentially, either she sacrifices someone or it devours her from the inside.
Yeah. It's interesting
And
how...
I guess you can kind of loop it by coming back to life and killing the person that killed you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that would take care of things, but obviously that is not a thing that's going to occur because Roz is super dead.
I mean, what if she, stabbed Roz's body, though? They dug it up and she just started
But he's
going
dead.
to
Isn't
town.
it going to
Hang
take
on.
his life?
We fix the pit or find a different one. We throw him in the pit. We tie him down. And then she murders him again.
Yeah.
All we
I mean,
have to
good.
do is steal the Flash's speed.
Wow.
Well, good night, everybody.
Bye. Peace out.
And the
Anyway.
people who don't watch The Flash are like, what on
What?
God's green earth? Watch all of the shows, you guys. They fit together and it's beautiful. Damien Darhk was in Legend of Tomorrow last week, and I just about lost my noise.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Oh my God, that was beautiful. He looks the same in 1975 as he does now.
That is something that does impact
something
this
you
show.
have to think about.
Is because we have established now, even though, Damien Darhk seems very unkillable, at least by any means that we are conventionally aware of, identical to his present-day form in 1975, so we have established, however he does it, he is quite immortal.
Yeah, but is his wife immortal? That's what I want to know.
Probably not.
I got a ton of questions about Lady Corncob.
Oh, okay, because now she's running for mayor.
Yeah, and also, I'm not sure, obviously now we know where she fits more or less into the structure of this season, but as far as I know, this is a character that doesn't really have an equivalent in the comics. Now the character's name escapes me, but when we saw it in writing a couple of times during the show, I tried to look it up, found nothing. So this very similarly to Damien Darhk himself, who really was only ever in about 2 issues of any comic book ever, you're working in uncharted territory here, which is really interesting.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because you have like 18 different versions of Slade to work with, and you're figuring out what do you want to keep, what do you want to make new, who's going to lose their noise if this isn't exactly like it was in this media. And with Damien Darhk, it's just like, hi, all my buddies, I'm brand new,
Do what
and
you
tell
want.
me all your secrets.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Damien Darhk, he got stood up. We didn't really get to see him. But it's okay. But here's the thing. The huge theme of tonight was, Oliver, you blame yourself. What else is new? But the other theme was choices and having and allowing someone else to make their own life choices, right? So Thea had her own choice. She's choosing death, pretty much. And it was at that point Oliver had to decide either be stubborn and do the original plan or save the city because his calculator guy is creating a ruckus and they need me. Do I go to help my sister or do I do the calculator thing? But at the end of the day, sister doesn't want my help, so am I going to respect this? Okay.
I wasn't expecting it to be such a right to life episode.
It was interesting.
It was interesting how that went.
Yeah, slightly. I do think, too, and it makes sense because we're dealing with so many moving pieces in this episode, an unusual number of moving pieces in tonight's episode. It did strike me as a little bit, although purposeful, conspicuous that we don't see Damien Darhk because he is one of maybe 3 characters in the entire universe that isn't dead or on a spinoff that wasn't in the episode tonight.
Hey, we saw the back of his head.
Okay, we saw the back, but see, we got a full appearance from Shadow, who is dead. And no appearance from Damien Darhk.
Are you alive? Nah, you're hallucinating. But I got a rock.
But dude, how the hell? Okay, I didn't even mean for us to end up in the flashback. But yeah,
can we just throw that down right now?
If you were a figment of my imagination for 2 seconds ago, he was getting electrocuted, and then these arrows just fly out of nowhere and kill old boy? Or did none of that even happen?
Well, none of that
He passed out in the middle of the torture. You can assume that the second the arrows start flying is pretty much the second he lost consciousness, and that's when the hallucination starts.
When we see Ryder again at the end, and he's not dead.
Yeah. He is super not dead.
He doesn't even look that much more angry than normal.
Right, huh? That's right. Well, I mean, he was in the bed the whole time, but either way, it was just really weird and interesting, and she's the last person I expected to see this episode.
That came out of nowhere.
I do love that they set that up with Felicity's earlier line about whose surprising reappearance do you think we'll see next? And lo and behold, Shadow's in screen like 30 seconds later. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was a beautiful setup.
But
that
again,
cost time to set that up. That was great.
But again, her theme was all about you keep blaming yourself and let go of the darkness, and the only way you can do that is through Oliver Queen and blah, 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 blah. Like, everybody kept going back to the fact that Oliver... Even Felicity at the beginning of the episode, when he did something, she's like, how did you manage to find a way to blame yourself for this now?
Right. Well, I mean,
because everything is my fault.
Yeah. It's driving that point home, though, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I think that's his arc this season, is kind of realizing that he can rely on his friends and that they're all essentially their own people. He doesn't have to take on their problems because they can make their own decisions and all that stuff.
Well, and he's not Atlas. He can't carry the world on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet.
Maybe.
I will say I found the whole Shadow sequence really interesting, mostly because we also had another internal, I guess, representation last week. So we had Felicity and hers, and then now we have Oliver and his Shadow visions. And I thought that the show is doing a lot of really interesting things. I feel like back when they were trying to be more grounded, they would have never done something like this.
Oh, yeah.
But now they're really like stepping into foreign territory.
And I do like that for Felicity's, it was, your medication might cause hallucinations. Sorry about that. And for Oliver's, it was straight up, you have a magic tattoo and now you're having a vision. These things occur sometimes. And the tattoo has gifted you with a rock. I'm not going to get over this. It's like, I have a jar of dirt. Yeah. Like, okay,
but Oliver did finally tell Diana that he was the one that killed her brother.
This is what's killing me about that. So, God, the circumstances don't matter. What matters is I killed your brother. No, the circumstances do matter because you got set up.
Dude, I mean...
And Conklin knew.
Thank you. Well, you got someone coming at you trying to kill you. You're going to defend yourself.
Yeah. So
I wish you would have said, but see, that's still falling into that whole, I'm going to blame myself and it's my fault, so I'm just going to leave it at my fault.
Exactly.
Right. You know, like, the court system considers justifiable homicide a thing.
Yeah.
That's like my whole...
Self-defense.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And the occasional make my day law for all the good and ill that does.
You know, I'm just saying, like, in the eyes of the law, Oliver wouldn't necessarily be culpable for this. And I totally get feeling bad about it, but there's absolutely a line past which, like, is it going to be difficult for Diana to look at him the same way, knowing that he killed her brother in any situation? Oh, yeah. Of course. On the other hand, if Oliver dies in the flashback at the hands of this random foreign guy, then retroactively there's no show and time paradox. The entire thing unravels. CW has to answer a lot of really angry fan questions.
No, see, that's why we have Legends of Tomorrow.
And so they can go back and fix that.
That's
Hey.
true. Or we find out all the flashbacks take place in Earth 2.
And he dies at the end of the flashback. No, but the dad would still have to be alive. Because the dad is the Green Arrow in Earth 2.
Yes. But, I mean, you could say that because people come back to life all the time
This is
in
true.
this show.
Guys, Rip Hunter said time takes a little while. It's like cement hardening.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, for him, he was 24 hours. This is like 5 years.
So some cement is wetter cement. Stop.
If your cement takes 5 years to set, you have an awful contractor.
You're just sculpting mud. Anyway,
Every time it rains, you're like,
So anyway.
son
time
of a-
travel, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
Great.
One of the things that Shadow Pretend said to Oliver is that you know that she's in love with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just lying to her. So I'm
Your
waiting for the...
subconscious ships it.
Right. So I'm wondering where this is going to go and what's going to lead up to whatever, because obviously there is no more relationship between him and Diana.
Presumably.
Yes.
There may
Well,
not
I
be
hope
any more
not.
tie-in, let's be real.
Yeah. So I'm just curious to see where that's going to go and if they're actually going to delve into a different relationship in the flashback. And then we have Oliver present time in a relationship with Felicity, but then in flashback in a relationship with Shadow. I don't know if
And my initial thought would be, all we know is that when we get to the present, they're not in touch anymore, so something happens. That would have been what I would stick to like last season. But just a handful of weeks ago, we found out, oh yeah, I've totally had John Constantine's number for like 5 years. I just never called him.
Yeah.
So it's totally possible she's going to show up next week.
yeah, very much
And
so.
that's what's killing me about this. I've had Constantine's number for forever. I can't. You
I don't
were
know, guys.
dealing with Ra's al Ghul
I
and
didn't
you
think
did
it would be
okay.
useful until now.
Hey, you know what? The dude was under contract. We couldn't bring him in.
He was
Sorry.
busy.
Anyway, I just want to wrap up talking about Thea just a little bit too, because first of all, we haven't even mentioned the fact that Roy came back on the show.
Yeah,
Yay!
so that was fun.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But one of the things is that when Roy came in to visit, first of all, he said, I can't stay, what have you. And Thea's giving him this speech, and basically to me, I'm like, okay, you're giving him the goodbye. You're giving the hi, I'm choosing to die, just so you know. Go have babies. Go get married. I love you. And I was like, oh God, you're the one in the grave. Like, is this really what's gonna happen?
This is why we started with Rolling in the Deep. Because it starts with we could have had it all.
I wanted to do all that with you. If I could start all over again,
So-
I would do all of that with you.
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest. One, I had the same thought you did during that scene where I'm like, oh, they're setting us up to be devastated when Thea dies.
Right.
But also, I don't know about you guys, but that scene actually got me a little bit. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually
Oh, that was
midway
a
through,
great
I'm like,
scene.
I'm watching this with other people. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. But I literally started getting like,
Let it out, man.
We won't
Yeah.
judge you.
Oh my God. Well, and the thing is that one of the beautiful things I thought was, Malcolm Merlin has his moments of sanity, and one of the things
It's
that he
not
had
even
said,
moments of sanity, it's moments of empathy,
Well,
which
that-
is less expected from him.
yeah, that too. But I love the talk that he had with Oliver, and he said, quit being selfish. Like, don't you think there's moments where I want to take a knife and force her to kill somebody just so I can have her, but it's not my choice. And sometimes I don't remember the exact quote that he said, but something about one of the best gifts in life is to do nothing, or best gifts of love or something is to do absolutely nothing at all.
Sometimes the greatest act of love is
There
to
you
do
go.
nothing.
Thank you.
he is a more enlightened, modern Ra's al
Daddy.
Ghul. I think he's definitely like a Ra's al Ghul for a hipper, trendier age. He's like a
Is that
jeans
what
and
it
he's like a
is?
jeans and sweater wearing Demon's Head, which I think is nice. And so occasionally, yeah, he's a little more enlightened than just put a sword through it.
He does a lot of working from home. He's also less than a century old, which I think helps with your
He's more
views.
modern.
Yeah.
Got it. Anyways, I just thought it was a really great moment, really great speech, and he actually got through to Oliver, which is really hard to do.
Well, he is the one other person who values Thea as highly as Oliver does, who has that close of a connection to her.
Yeah.
So, coming from him, it's pretty solid words.
Yeah.
I do like his, I have my sources. I also know how to put my ear against a door.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Also, it does seem like for a long time following the reveal that Thea was Malcolm's daughter, and I think well after that, there was a very big question mark whenever he professed to care about his daughter. That, for me at least, seems to have gone away. Like, increasingly, I believe that in his own really strange, I'm the head of the demon way, he does genuinely care about her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's always there for her. I mean, I think it took a while to get there, mostly because he saw her as a tool, but like over time, spending time and, you know, having to fight for her as much as he has, I think that he's really come a long way, guys.
That doesn't undo the fact that he brainwashed her and used her as an agent of murder.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's
a
still
little bit of an
there,
issue.
but we
Yeah.
push it to the back of our minds.
What's the
We have a
hashtag?
hashtag in the chat, thoroughly modern Malcolm, from Brandon
There you
Christopher.
go.
We also have a hashtag on Twitter that from Brandon C. I think it's the same person. Red hot knife peppers. I kind of love it.
Happy Valentine's Day. What else are people saying in the Twitter? Anybody saying anything interesting?
Jokes about broccoli bombs. Do we think Felicity's gonna find out? Her dad is the calculator?
Yes.
Lady Corncob's name is Ruve.
Thank
Thought
you.
you'd like to
Okay,
know.
all right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Emmy Kent. That is super helpful. And to everyone in YouTube talking about, well, Damien Darhk looks the same because he stole frog water. We know.
Yeah.
It was just really nice to see that confirmed in 1975 on
Yeah.
another show. It was really interesting to see that.
Ooh, let's talk about Curtis for a second.
Let's talk
I
about
missed that guy.
Yes, about that man. Yes.
Talk about people coming back unexpectedly.
Right, and I loved, okay, so when Roy comes in, we haven't talked about Roy and his situation, and I love, by the way, that Felicity caught on his eye color was different, and that's how she picked up the fact that there was something, I was gonna say fishy and suspicious all at once, and it was like, fishy.
Suspicious.
Fish. Anyway, so they had the
Fishy,
fight,
fishy, fishy,
right?
fishy.
And one of the things that you'd brought up that a fan had mentioned about Curtis being able to hold his own, and I even wrote that down on my notes. I was like, he can fight-ish. I mean, he's not like combat
athlete.
Yeah.
but you know.
I'm not surprised that the fight ended with him getting his rear handed to him because Roy has a lot more street training, a lot more
Right.
experience, but I am also not surprised that he was able to hold his own because he does have some of that training.
Right.
So
And he gave another beautiful speech too. Tonight was the night of beautiful speeches. The two Felicities, the brilliance.
the one who lets her wheelchair hamper who she is, and
Right.
the one who comes in like a bat out of hell and does what needs to be done.
Right. What was I going to say about Curtis, though? There was something else. No, it wasn't actually Roy. So from the beginning of the show, right, and we have this thief running around stealing stuff. We have Oliver, by the way, unmasked in street clothes, doing all his, badass stuff. And I'm like, oh, kind of cool to see Oliver Queen just out in the open. Nobody, hey, just so you know, running for mayor, and I can do all this
I do
awesome
parkour.
stuff.
Woo!
Yeah!
Yeah.
Running for mayor and other things.
But I knew it was Roy just because of the fact that his style of how he was parkouring.
So
Dead
here's a
giveaway.
fun thing.
What is the fun
Oliver's
thing?
not wearing any of his gear, no disguise, no nothing. Tackles Roy. Roy gets a good dead-on look at him.
Oh, with the contact.
And then leaves.
Oh, shitty.
And somewhere the calculator's like, wow, that Oliver Queen really is a man of the people. What's going on over here?
Right, and now that you bring that up, and the fact that he was sitting right next to him at the meeting, and what's crazy is I know you said you already saw it coming. I didn't, because I thought that the calculator was at the presentation because A, he wanted more information on the supercharged battery that can help him out. B, I thought he realized that Felicity was the girl behind the computer, so that was just his way of getting closer and just being evil and what have you. I did not see it coming that he was going to be like, hey, daughter, what up?
Well, the producers had talked a little bit about how Felicity's father was not, they said
He
it's
was
not
gonna be
not
evil.
Damien Darhk, but it is a villainous, slightly shady character. So the second they announced the calculator, my assumption is, okay, that's Felicity's dad. The second you watch the two of them with their voices disguised, bantering back and forth, and their style of banter is nearly identical, I went, oh, yeah. That's her dad.
I just kind of wish it hadn't been so telegraphed. Like, we have a tech-savvy villain and his name's the calculator. It's her dad. Like, wow, sky blue, water wet.
I love, though, that she was clowning on his name so much.
Oh, yeah.
You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
calling him that, but calling
And
him
she
that.
wouldn't use it. There was anytime she had to refer to him after that, it was like, Our adversary.
I wanted her to start calling him like TI-83 or something.
Texas is.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Let's talk about him. And why does everybody just want to destroy the city? Can you just
Because it's easy pickings and people are jerks.
I guess.
That's the best I've got.
Well, I feel like, and maybe this is just me thinking in terms of Batman, because I couch everything in Batman terms to make myself feel secure. But a lot of the Batman villains, part of it is, they're crazy people and they have access to resources, and another part of it is they're reacting to the presence of a Batman. With Joker, it's, oh, you're here, and I'm just so fascinated and taken with you that I want to fixate entirely on you. With the Riddler, it's, well, I just want to prove that I'm more intelligent than you are. So these are crazy people with resources, and I think part of targeting a city with an established hero is, I've got these resources, I'm crazy, let me, as part of my plan, very publicly take down this prominent heroic figure to prove to everybody and myself and them that I'm better than they are.
Yeah.
I just had a moment, and nobody's going to care about my moment, but I'm going to share it anyways. Now that I think about it, looking at the calculator, looking at Felicity's mom, Donna Smoke, how the hell did they become a couple?
Alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Alcohol, but also I could totally see, like, if Calculator is
No,
out in
I
the
don't
sun,
see-
if he's out in the sun a little
no,
bit and
not attractive.
dresses without that like black sweater
No.
thing, maybe he's got like a little Silver Fox quality going
You
on.
can't tell
No.
me that you've never been sweet talked by a nerd.
Nope.
He's also
Really?
like,
Not even that he's a
super
nerd.
smart.
He's just he's obviously a bit older, right?
So is she.
She
I mean,
is, but she
this
still
is
seems.
something-
But she still seems like I got it going on. She's fly. She's hip. She's trendy.
This is
He
also
just
a
seems
relationship
so-
that happened 20 some odd years ago, at least.
Yeah, he's been single
So-
a long time.
He could have looked like
But
Stephen
what
Amell
do
back
they
then.
really have to
could
talk
have.
about?
On computers.
Have you ever been seduced by a nerd?
I am. Well, I'm goofy, but no. A goofball, yes. I mean but no.
I mean, I'm sure that she was enamored by his intelligence, and he was, drawn to her, funness.
Yeah, funness.
Yeah, her
Well,
funness.
he's definitely, we definitely saw, forget any physical attributes he has. He's definitely intelligent.
Yeah.
He's
Okay,
definitely
give him
confident,
that.
and he's definitely well spoken. So I feel like you put that in a body 20 years younger, better dressed with a little color, maybe.
Sweet
Yeah.
talk by a nerd.
And alcohol.
It happens.
Yeah.
Sweet talk by a nerd.
But did they even have
In
a
the 80s.
relationship, or did they just sleep together? Because, and the way I feel like is he was a deadbeat daddy.
I mean, he was a criminal. So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is worse, arguably.
So,
Yeah.
Like, instead of just being a deadbeat, he was actively perpetrating crime.
That's a good reason to break up.
I wouldn't want that dude around if it's me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Pondering how
Yeah.
this occurred, but yeah.
But the
And two people love each other very much.
anyway, but going back into the whole little, because this fascinates me so much, the little contact situation and everything that was going on with Roy, and he was talking about how it's funny how we're talking about blame, this, that, and the third, but here's Roy taking on his own weight, if you will. Just because of everything that happened, he left. He got involved with this calculator dude, and he's trying to keep everything separate. And this is my responsibility. I brought this maniac here. And then we get the theme again of let me make my own choice when they're in the factory or wherever they are, and he wants to stay behind to explode the bomb.
Speaking of, on one of the devices and one of the places that he steals this blah 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 science stuff from is called.
blah science
They don't make a big deal out of it, but Cadmus gets a name drop.
Yes.
Okay, so Cadmus depends on which incarnation of this universe you follow, but in the comics, Cadmus was an organization. It's an offshoot of the government that experimented extensively with DNA and cloning. And in the comics, they threw a little bit of Superman DNA, a little bit of Lex Luthor DNA into a little sieve, a spaghetti sieve, and what came out was Superboy. That's comics. In the DC animated universe, which I know we're all fans of,
Yes.
Cadmus was a government organization funded by Lex Luthor, whose focus was to throw all of their resources at combating metahumans, whether they're evil or not. The division leader of Cadmus in the animated universe is one Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
So it was just fun to see the name drop.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very
This show really likes doing that.
It's so much fun.
It's like, here's your stuff.
Pander. Yep,
It's
love
working.
it.
Speaking of comic canon, because this came up in chat, and I think it's worth addressing because it's a comparison. Chat wants to know if we think that Oliver and Laurel will ultimately end up together because of comics canon, because evidently there are other after shows that hold that opinion. Guys, we aren't other after shows. we don't all have the same opinions. And since when does this show care about comic canon?
Yeah, I would say...
Look how many cares it does not give. They pretty much set up that Laurel has definitely moved on, as has Oliver, and it would take some incredible character assassination to shoehorn them back together. So I'm gonna go with no, and it's not just because I really like Felicity. Even if they broke up, Laurel and Oliver is a ship that has sailed and torpedoed and sunk and doesn't have any buried treasure to dig up, so there's really no reason to go back to it.
There was actually an interview with Katie Cassidy, and someone had asked her about Walliver's, how they shipped it. I was like, okay, whatever. Either way, she had said that...
Because it's funny.
Yeah, well, she had said she didn't know, but one of the things she said is you'd also have to deal with the fact that they're all in the same crew, and unless Felicity departs, like
awkward.
Exactly. Why would you do that to your friend? Now there goes a circle of trust. How are you going to work together when I can't trust you around my man?
Right. Yeah, but I think there is a certain cross section of the fan community that is going to be really, really angry anytime anything happens that isn't exactly like the books. And
This
look,
is true.
I'm the first guy to go every time they do something, no matter how tiny that I recognize from comics. I'm like, oh, give me more. That's amazing.
Right.
But there are more important things, far more important things at the end of the day than absolute slavish fealty to the source material.
Well, even some of the producers, sorry to cut you off, I would say some of the producers that even said, look, this show is inspired by the comic book, but it is not the comic book, and they're not going to write the stories exactly as that because you'd be disservicing the people that do read the comics, only in the sense that now they're going to know what's going to happen because they're following the same storyline. So it's like they want to keep it a nice surprise for the comic fans. For those of us who are not comic fans, they want to intrigue you with great stories, and that's why they give the little Easter eggs here and there just so the comic book people are like, oh yeah, it's really exciting.
Well,
but
right.
Yeah, I don't want you to know what's going to happen because you read book number whatever 120, and now you already know that this is what the end game is for this character.
And on top of that, too, I'm sorry, I just cut you off too. No, your turn. Speak.
They've established their own universe here. It's inspired by, not an adaptation of.
Correct.
It's not like, I've read the books, I know what's going to happen in the movie. It's completely different.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest reason that these characters have all lasted so long, I mean, Green Arrow was created in the 40s, you know what I mean? The reason these characters still exist and have managed to sustain themselves is because there are so many, similar in many respects, so many different iterations of all of these characters, and each one is equally valid. So I don't see them not ending up together as something that you should condemn the entire thing over.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of comments in chat about it. Asheen Gill says Katie Cassidy herself has said that she ships Felicity at this point. And Aylin Mendoza says Oliver and Diggle would happen first.
Nice.
Digiver?
You know, there was actually an interview with Emily Bett Rickards, and she had said for the longest time, she didn't even know what Felicity was. I mean, she's so busy working anyways, so she didn't realize that fans had become so involved and really in love with the idea of the two of them together. So she thought that was really cool. And one of the other things she said is that she loves working with Stephen Amell, obviously, but she says it's like one of her favorite things because obviously they've had a relationship now just as friends for 4 years. So now being able to work together on set in such a close manner in this relationship is just so much fun. And I was like, yeah, it'd be fun working with him too.
They've got the chemistry.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
They have the on-screen chemistry for it.
I'm like, no offense, wifey, but I slightly like Emily Bett Rickards better. Sorry, Stephen.
No, I ship the characters, but we are staying firmly out of RPF territory. Nope.
Just saying. I like them together.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about shipping real people. I feel like things get messy when you start shipping actual human beings.
You see
Actual
some weird
humans.
stuff on Tumblr. And the supernatural fandom.
You can start writing them letters, trying to get them to be together, and I can't even continue this joke. It just
like I said, we're
me.
not the supernatural fandom.
Hey, really quick question, guys. This is sort of out of left field, but we had talked a little bit about the Lotus at the beginning of this episode. And do you guys think that Oliver, well, I guess we saw a little bit in the preview, but he would really, really go through with, let me go kill Malcolm so that way I can get this Lotus thing and cure Thea when Thea's very specifically and clearly told me to leave it be?
I mean, we saw in the teaser, it looks like going to at least start fighting.
Yeah, but that could be a setup.
Right.
That could be a fake. Let's just do this for Nyssa so she thinks something's about to go down. Although if she's smart, she'll hold on to the Lotus until he's dead.
Well, and there's 8 different levels of plans and manipulations and God knows what else when you're dealing with A, the League of Assassins, B, Malcolm Merlyn. He's called the Magician for a reason.
And we haven't seen much magic lately from him, have we?
No.
Dude, his smile is magic.
When he sings and prances, it's magical.
Yeah.
I like to think about him in the sweater drinking tea.
So random.
I feel like we need little webisodes for this show. Like we need the
He needs his own
we need
show.
the Adventures of Katana, and we need the head of the demon has a day off.
Well,
and we
you
need
know,
just stuff like that.
I think maybe we touched on it on this show a little bit, but there is now, based on this series, a Dark
comic.
Archer comic
Yes.
book. So I'm really hoping it's that. It's just Malcolm like hanging out at his apartment, sipping tea, reading good books, like petting a cat.
occasionally reaching out and murdering someone offhandedly,
Yeah,
and
literally.
then coming back in and being like, "Oh,
Between
my
tap
tea's
dancing
cold."
or something.
Yeah. Like he sings. It's great.
Anyways.
That'd be awesome.
Guys, so pretty soon we're going to start getting into news and gossip. But first, before we do that, let's check the hashtag if there's anything else that you guys want us to bring up that maybe we have not talked about yet.
Well,
Let's
we've
go
got
and
a
do that.
delay, so let's
I
do
know,
news
of
and
course.
gossip and then come back to it.
All right, Mr. Engineer, are you ready for me? Did I spring you up out of nowhere?
AfterBuzz
I
TV
don't
News.
Don't ask. I don't know where all the accents come from. Anyways, so some of the pictures that we have up this evening.
Hey guys, I'm here now. Sorry, Jeff was taking over. We're understaffed tonight, so
Oh, it's okay.
here we go. I got pictures and pictures and pictures.
Pictures on pictures on pictures.
Pictures
So
for days.
Pictures for days.
Colson Haynes and Emily Bett Rickards did a spread with Vanity Fair,
Oh,
and
dear.
they decided to switch gender roles. So you see them as man and woman, and then there's a few moments where they switch and they change and rearrange just because. And the photographer said he loved working with the two of them because A, they're so open-minded, B, because they have such a great relationship with each other, they're willing to go there for some of the photos. If we can go ahead and fast forward to some of our other photos with the two of them,
Give me a
please.
second, guys.
Yeah, no problem. But I just thought it was interesting that he said that because obviously there's so many rumors that the two of them have this electrical romance and they keep saying, we're best friends, we're best friends. And even Emily had said for this episode, she was so excited to have Colton back. And she said, you know, he's one of my favorite humans in the whole entire world. I'm like, yeah, there's been a few moments where I've seen pictures of you putting your tongue close to his mouth and not just in this fashion spread. So,
Hashtag Roylicity.
We are back
Roylicity.
into RPF territory here.
I think they'd be an amazing couple. I think they'd be super duper cute. I don't know if it's true that they really are just best friends. Anyways, I'm just, you know what, right now just waiting for the pictures to show.
I mean, I don't really care one way or the other if they date in real life. I'm just trying to make shippers grumpy.
Well, this is obviously the picture I was talking about that they were
Yes.
willing to quote unquote go there and just be all romantical and cute. I think they're cute together. Let's move on to our next photo if we can. I don't know if it's a bit difficult to switch photos. That one's cute. Just a little tongue on your chin, no
They're
big.
biting each other?
I could handle if Colton Haynes put his tongue on my chin. Just place it right there.
What if he's trying to eat her?
That's okay. And then this picture. Okay, so this picture
Eventually.
of her with podcaster. Sorry, Colton Haynes is looking very naked, and Emily Bett Rickards is putting red kisses all over him, and it just made me think of my Boys and Beauty episode. Yes, I'm gonna go there and say that.
Plug.
Yes, cheap plug. I did a Boys and Beauty about Roy Harper, the Red Arrow, back when he was the Red Arrow, and I talked about how red lipstick is actually made out of beetle blood. So when I look at this picture, I just see Emily Bett Rickards putting blood all over his face. But whatever.
Which is a very different flavor of sexy.
That's super metal. What magazine is this?
Yeah. Anyhow, let's go to our next photo if we have any more. Oh, and this was the original before things got real hot and steamy. You see Colton Haynes in the suit and Emily in the jacket, I guess, and then obviously below you get to see the switch.
I want
Now-
a picture of both of them in suits.
That works too. So this is a picture that we all
man.
saw of Oliver Queen, hashtag no arm. And one of the things that Stephen Amell had actually said that it's very creative, very great, very inaccurate. And I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, this
It
definitely
looks
looks
like
like
fan art.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways.
The fact that they're doing that on Legends of Tomorrow makes me so absolutely preposterously happy.
Oh, yeah.
Because as we've talked about, and as I've talked about on other shows, that's lifted directly out of The Dark Knight Returns, one of the greatest books ever written.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't realize that this started with Robbie Amell. We'll go ahead and play this, but this was supposed to be Stephen Amell singing. If it's not, then maybe we'll just have to try to look it up. But we'll see what happens with Robbie. Boom.
Maybe.
Maybe. Just kidding. I can sing for you instead.
Hey, I'm at Heroes and Villains Fan Fest, New York, New Jersey, and I'm about to give you guys a live look at John Barrowman and Stephen Amell. Here you go.
Okay, there we go.
Wanna build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. I'd never see you anymore. Come out the door, it's like you've gone away. We used to be best buddies, but now we're not. I wish you would tell me why.
Get it, Stephen.
Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. Go away, Stephen.
Anyways, that was really cute.
Go away, Stephen.
Really, really cute. So make sure you check
Get it
that
together,
out on
Steve.
YouTube. And I think that's all I have for news and gossip, unless you guys have anything.
I think it's definitely worth mentioning since it's not going to happen on this show, but Tauri, you should actually cover this because you're on
relevant to
both
his
of, you're on
interests
both
here.
of these panels.
Yeah, you are.
It's
News
been
that
announced
broke
today.
today.
That the Flash is going to be on Supergirl. It's going to be a crossover, and it's going to be amazing. There's no synopsis yet. They just know that the Flash is going to appear there so far.
Something about dimensional travel.
Yeah, which totally means even if Barry runs super fast and ends up somewhere else in the space-time continuum, as he is wont to do, that still means definitively that somehow multiverse blah blah blah, everything happening on Supergirl and everything happening on Arrow are happening in the same universe.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Which
It's
means
almost like they're owned by the same company.
what? But that means Superman now definitively exists somewhere in the same universe as Arrow. That's very exciting to me.
Yeah.
Do we have anything in the hashtag
I just
before
have
we get
iTunes
into
reviews.
Oh, I mean, we can go for it.
We have Love the Show from Chaz213-2005. Your guys' shows are awesome. Nice to hear other people's opinion on the shows. And we have Great Show, look forward to it every Thursday by Kyle Ruffin. Hi, Arrow Panel. You're the first AfterBuzz podcast I started listening to, and now I listen to at least 6 other AfterBuzz podcasts.
Aw,
guys, we are
cool.
a gateway drug.
Oh, yeah.
We done
You
it.
guys-
We done it.
You guys provide a great recap. Bleh. You
Yeah.
guys provide a great recap, review, and insight on the show. Keep doing your thing. You guys and gals are the best. P.S. Katie, you are the unicorn of the show. Love ya. I'm a unicorn, guys. I fart rainbows and terrify people. It's great.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you guys for reviewing. If you want your review on the show, if you want to keep the lights on in the studio, if you want to let our producers know, hey, we really like hearing these people talk about Arrow, we'd like to hear some more of it. Go to iTunes, look us up in the iTunes store. AfterBuzz Arrow is a very good search term. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a rating, leave 5 stars because you love us.
Yes.
And basically getting these iTunes reviews is a definitive way of saying, yes, we're doing a good. Please let us continue to do a good.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
A good.
A good.
We are doing a good.
Yeah.
Why don't we get you some good?
We have a couple of people saying, did anyone catch how Oliver said he's been going back and forth to Central City and no one asked why? I missed that line somewhere.
So
in
did
there.
I.
I heard the line. I had assumed that it was because they are built, their lair is built in Central City, or built by Cisco, who is in Central City, and they just had the ramps installed. So
Yeah.
I know that. I mean, it could also been a reference to the crossover.
It probably is. It's probably him going to see his kid, et cetera, and they're just
Ew,
kind
that's
of...
gonna happen.
But yeah, I like
It's gonna be a thing.
that would be my biggest guess is that that's in there so that A, people who aren't watching The Flash know to watch The Flash, and B, people that are watching both shows anyway know that, oh right, he's got a very specific reason that he's not going to talk about to be going back and forth to Central City. But I also like the idea that like it's literally just a plug like Central City. That sounds interesting for people who aren't watching The Flash. And more than that, like I would love it if he's like, yeah, I've been going back and forth to Central City for a couple of weeks. Looks right at the camera. The Flash, Tuesday nights on the CW.
You
Smiles.
have a crack about wearing red doesn't mean you're the Flash.
Which is fun. Like I
Right.
love
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and
Well-
in Flash, we had a couple Arrow references
Yeah.
too. So we had the Felicity one, and we also had the little news report about
Oliver Queen's mayoral campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The Felicity reference was the best joke this
great.
week. Oh my god.
Best hacker in the world.
Felicity Smoke. Thanks, guys.
Your words hurt.
It's beautiful.
All right, guys, let's get into predictions.
Your AFTERBUZZ TV.
Okay, so
I
the
love
little
that the
extra.
laser light show is pink now. Like,
Yeah.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Oh, I missed the memo. Sorry. In blue.
No, that is literally what my shirt says.
Oh. Whoops. I think I probably just spit on you. I'm sorry. Free showers today, guys. Okay. Yay! So, anyway, predictions. I, for 2 seconds, really thought they were going to put Thea in the grave, but I also feel like that's too easy and too soon in this season for them to do that. So, obviously, the Lotus situation is going to happen. I just don't think that Oliver's really going to kill Malcolm. That's another one for me that's too easy. We're just going to kill him off. I feel like whoever gets killed is going to be a huge surprise, something that's going to disappoint and not just be, okay, we sort of like Malcolm now, and now he's dead.
People in chat have been saying that he's going to be on Reign this season.
Oh.
Barrowman?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
But there's nothing saying you can't be on two shows at the same time.
It's true.
Who knows?
Yeah, my guess is it's not whoever is in the grave. Yeah, I think it's going to happen far more suddenly than that. I think if they telegraph it, it's not going to be quite so heavily.
Yeah.
I also think, and I could be wrong, because they sure do love their terrible, terrible plans on this show.
They do.
I feel like, yeah, Nyssa says kill Malcolm, but when you're told to make a decision over the life of, between two people who you both of them you don't know for sure you can trust on any given day, but at least one of them has proven useful a couple of times, I feel like you don't kill that person on the word of another person you're not sure you can trust anyway.
Okay, what I want to know is Nyssa is very capable. Why the hell is she trying to get somebody else? I mean, I get that he's closer in the sense that he can get closer because there is that trust between the two of them, but why not just be a woman and kill the dude yourself? Why do you gotta get everybody else involved?
Drama.
I mean,
Yes.
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It is. It's still
It's
the CW.
excess. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
Plus, if you look at it, Oliver is a powerful ally. And so it's, I can save your sister, but only if you help me. Why would you not go in with someone that strong having your back?
Right. But I feel like it's super close to last season's story arc, where instead of Merlin, it's Nyssa being like, kill Ra's al Ghul and I'll save your sister, whom she didn't put him in, or she didn't put Thea in danger, but still. Like, it's the same storyline, so I feel like there's gotta be some twist in there.
Yeah, we're totally getting kicked off air right now, so that is our cue to start wrapping things up. I do apologize. The music is now telling us to go.
So I just want to see what
off.
the ramifications for standing up Damien Darhk are going to be.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to come down the line because he's not going to be someone who takes something like that lightly.
Really, though? That's such a bitch move, though. Like, who cares? He's got more important things to do.
Dude has an ego. He took time out of his day to come see Oliver, to come see the Arrow at his request, and now it's like, you stood me up.
Yeah, I was going to give you
Snaps,
2 weeks till
snaps.
just now.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for tonight's after show, and we will see you next week. Be sure to follow all of us on Twitter. Support your host, as always. I'm Allie Kona Bradford at Boys and Beauty 01. Hopefully, I will see you online.
Yes, I'm Lex Michael, all over social media at the Lex Michael.
I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me at Tauri J. Tauri.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. Star Wars Rebels at a special time. It is tomorrow night, Thursday at 8 p.m. And we have Ruby tomorrow as well at 6.
And the music gets louder, so that's our cue to say peace out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.